Minister of State for Defense puts his boots on ground in Kebbi, says measures in place for safe return of abducted girls.
So far, the intelligence we have at hand shows that we are almost close to those children, inshallah.
66th National Council on Health ends with Nigeria reaffirming commitment to universal health coverage.
We expect faster progress of Nigeria in terms of reaching the universal health coverage targets.
It's enough. NUC hits 32 institutions for abuse and indiscriminate award of honorary doctorate degrees.
When you award somebody who is in office, then you are looking for patronage. And to the extent, there are people who even buy.
Good evening, I'm Lami Ali, and you're watching the NTA Network News live from Abuja. Tonight, we have trending stories shaping the nation. Coming up in business, Bernie Adams breaks down the markets with major developments in the financial sector. Bernie.
Well, the markets are not looking bad today, but most importantly, Nigerians are scaling up their negotiation skills to better relations, not just with America, but with other parts of the world. We'll give you details in the course of the bulletin.
And in sports, Bade brings you highlights from the world of sports. Bade, bring it on.
Well, good number 11 for Nigeria at the final day, of the 2025 Islamic Solidarity Games. And of course, we'll bring you details when we get to sports.
Join us on the go on our website, nta.ng/live. NTA is also on X as NTA News Now. And you can also follow us across other social media platforms. Our other handles are displayed on your screen. Do stay tuned. We begin with security. The federal government has assured that all necessary measures are in place to ensure the safe release of the students abducted from Government Girls Comprehensive Secondary School, MAGA. The Minister of State for Defense, Bello Muhammad Matole, gave the assurance after relocating to Kebbi State on the directive of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Abdul Jalil Muhammad Bawa reports.
So far, the intelligence we have at hand shows that we are almost close to those children, inshallah.
Those were the first words of assurance to Nigerians, the Kebbi State government and parents of the student abducted from Government Girls Comprehensive Secondary School MAGA, as the Minister of State for Defense, Bello Muhammad Matawalli, relocated to Kebbi State on the directive of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. This is part of ongoing effort to ensure the safe rescue of the schoolgirls. The minister's message was clear that no stone will be left unturned as he coordinates all security agencies on the front line.
The people of Kebbi should not panic. A lot of security and some equipment are moving to Kebbi, particularly some of the forest, where we are closing to those children.
We want you to critically look into this, so that if people did this thing intentionally, let them be brought to book.
Communities across the state were also urged to cooperate fully with security operatives during the ongoing rescue operations. In Birnin Kebbi, Abdul Jalil Muhammad Bawa, NTA News.
Meanwhile, following the reported abduction of an unspecified number of students and pupils of St. Mary Catholic Primary and Secondary School in Agwara, local government area of Niger State earlier today, the local council administration has directed closure of all schools in the area. Chairman of the local government council, Ilyasu Zakari, says the directive becomes necessary in view of the security concerns in the state. Kabir Abdullahi reports.
The bandits reportedly stormed the premises of St. Mary Catholic Secondary and Primary School, Papiri, in Agwara local government area of Niger State between 1 and 3 a.m. on Friday, an abducted yet to be ascertained number of students and pupils injuring some security personnel. At about noon on Friday, some parents who refused to talk to pressmen stormed the premises of the school to have an update on the ugly development, while others were seen picking up the personal effect of their words. Earlier in a statement, the Secretary to Niger State Government, Abubakar Usman, says a full-scale investigation and search and rescue operation is currently ongoing to ensure the safe return of the abducted children. In the same vein, the Catholic Diocese of Kontagora, managers of St. Mary Catholic Primary and Secondary School, Papiri, also condemned the attack and expressed deep concern for the safety of the abducted children in a statement.
The commanders have deployed the police tactical units. Even as I speak with you, military components are also on ground there. With other security agencies, it's a collaborative effort, the DSS and other agencies. We are working together to see what can be done to rescue these children.
The Aguara Local Government Council has, however, ordered closure of both government and private-owned schools in the area till further notice in Aguara, Niger State. Kabir Abdullahi, NTA News.
The Nasarawa State Police Command has debunked the stories in some social media platforms that 2 pupils have been abducted from St. Peter's Academy, Rukubi in Duma, local government area of the state, stating that the reports do not reflect the true state of affairs. A statement by the command's public relations officer, Ramhan Nansel, indicates that a combined team of police and military personnel was quickly deployed to the scene upon receiving the news. It was discovered that the pupils had sighted some hunters with Dane guns and fled, mistaking them for kidnappers. With normalcy restored, the command urges the public to disregard the reports circulating in public space, advising media practitioners to always verify information before publication to avoid misleading the public. Meanwhile, the Nasarawa State Government, through the Chief Press Secretary to the Governor, Ibrahim Adra, in a statement says, reports from local authorities, the principal of the purported school and community members indicate no such incidents occurred in the area. The government therefore calls on citizens to disregard this false alarm, remain law-abiding as government remains unwavering in its commitment to the security of lives and property in the state. Democracy must go beyond elections and focus more on ideals, strong legislations and good governance. This was the position of eminent personalities as the Goodluck Jonathan Foundation's 10th anniversary celebration held in Abuja. Timothy Yusuf reports.
Work began.
A decade of the establishment of the Goodluck Jonathan Foundation, coinciding with the 68th birthday of former President Goodluck Jonathan.
And over 10 years since leaving office.
From Vice President Kashim Shettima to former President Olusegun Obasanjo and many others, Goodluck Jonathan represents a true definition of a Democrat, a peacemaker and an embodiment of goodness.
Our democracy stands because of people like former President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan. People who believe that the Nigerian state is bigger than any individual. People who understand that the state is greater than all of us and must therefore be protected with courage, with restraint, and with patriotism.
We must change the face of politics. We must see politics as a business of responsible individuals.
President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan believes in proper management of transitions through effective mediation to ensure their success.
He is a teacher of democracy. He practices democracy. Everything about him is democratic.
The challenges facing our continent ahead are great and demand bold ideas and collaborative action.
A reminder to politicians that election is not a do or die affair. In every contest, only one winner will emerge. A food for thought shared by speakers here. Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
Vice President Kashim Shettima is to represent the President to represent President Bola Ahmed Tinubu at the G20 Leaders Summit in Johannesburg, South Africa. In a statement, the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Communications, Office of the Vice President, Stanley Kocha, says this follows the decision of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to stay back in Nigeria and attend to security concerns in the country. President Tinubu had postponed his earlier scheduled trip to Johannesburg, South Africa, to await further security briefings on the recent security incidents in Kebbi and Kwara states. The South African President Cyril Ramaphosa, who also serves as the current president of the G20 group, had invited his Nigerian counterparts to participate in this year's edition. The summit, scheduled to take place from Saturday, November 22nd to Sunday, November 23rd, as the Johannesburg Expo Center, brings together leaders from the world's top 20 economies, including the European Union, the African Union, and financial institutions, among others. Now, Vice President Kashim Shettima has arrived in Johannesburg, South Africa, for the G20 Leaders Summit. The Vice President is scheduled to engage foreign leaders and development partners on issues relating to the economy, security, and climate change, among others. He was received as the Waterkloof Air Force Base in Johannesburg by the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edun, Charge d'Affaires Ambassador Alexander Ajayi, Council General Ambassador Umar Bashir, and other officials. The meeting themed solidarity, equality, and sustainability. The two-day summit will afford participants, including Vice President Shettima, the opportunity to deliberate extensively on issues concerning the economy, financing for development and debt burden, climate change, and equitable food systems during 3 panel sessions. Additionally, the Vice President is expected to hold bilateral meetings during the summit in furtherance of the Renewed Hope agenda and to discuss regional and international peace, security, and developments. To other news, the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, has called for deeper collaboration among member countries of the Developing Eight, that's D8, to strengthen media systems, combat misinformation, and enhance regional cohesion. This was while addressing ministers, media leaders, and senior policymakers as the D8 Media Forum held in Baku, Azerbaijan. In a statement by the Director, Press and Protocol in the Ministry, Suleiman Haruna, the minister, represented by the Executive Secretary of the Nigerian Press Council, Nze Dile Zuga, spoke on the theme fostering dialogue, collaboration, and regional cohesion, emphasizing that with the D8's combined GDP exceeding $8 trillion and intra-group trade accounting for 10% of global trade, media cooperation plays a critical role in shaping public understanding, promoting transparency, and supporting developments. The minister highlighted the establishment of the UNESCO-backed International Media and Information Literacy Institute, Category 2, the first in Africa, as one of several homegrown innovations and reforms that Nigeria has undertaken in the last year, which he says offers practical lessons for other developing countries. To health matters now. The Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Mohammed Alapati, and the Cross River State Governor, Basu, too, have highlighted successes recorded in healthcare delivery, which are deliverables of the Renewed Hope agenda to transform the health landscape and build a healthy population. This was at the 66th regular meeting of the National Council on Health, Calabar 2025. Paul Abel reports.
The National Council on Health is the highest policy-making body in Nigeria on health issues, and at its 66th regular meeting holding in Calabar, the Cross River State capital, with all the exploit achieved in the past 2 years, the Minister of Health and the Cross River State Governor represented are unanimous that there is more to be done towards making a difference in ensuring healthcare is available to all Nigerians, whether rich or poor.
As we look forward, we expect faster progress of Nigeria in terms of reaching the universal health coverage targets. But we're still far below where we need to be. Quality health is not cheap. You have to invest in it.
We remain resolute in our mission to ensure accessible, quality health care for all citizens, laying a solid foundation for improved healthcare outcome and progress towards universal healthcare coverage.
Turning to universal health coverage demands that we transcend political affiliations, state boundaries, and institutional silos. It requires us to embrace equity as our compass, resilience as our foundation, and innovation as our value.
Vehicles and medical equipment were presented to the Cross River State government by the WHO as dignitaries toured around the various health services exhibition stands. In Calabar, Paul Abel, NTA News.
Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu has launched the National Environmental Club and Environment Society, a landmark initiative designed to strengthen environmental education and climate action participation among young people. Mina Daniels reports.
It was a gathering that brought together students, teachers, environmental advocates, and government officials, all united by one mission: to secure Nigeria's environmental future.
The ministry will continue to support them because what they are doing is trying to move the mandate of the ministry, trying to push the mandate of the ministry beyond where we are.
At the State House Banquet Hall, the First Lady, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, led the official launch of the Environment Club, an initiative aimed at nurturing a new generation of environmentally conscious Nigerians.
Society would develop a generation of young Nigerians who are committed to environmental preservation, biodiversity conservation, and the sustainable use of resources. It aims to cultivate a national mindset that prioritizes ecological responsibility.
We are launching a movement led by young people, powered by their ideas, their energy, and their imagination.
Students who attended the lunch expressed excitement.
I believe that if I could tell my friends that, oh, don't trash your bottle here, take it to the recycling bin, I feel like that's where we should start from.
I've seen the light to plantation to make Nigeria green and better for future, to avoid pollution.
The aim of this lunch is to raise a generation of environmentally conscious citizens who will take the protection of this environment to the future. From the banquet hall of the Presidential Villa, Mina Daniels, NTA News.
We pause now for some messages. The news continues after. Do stay tuned.
Heart of Owerri, business never sleeps. From sunrise to sundown, the wheels keep turning. And behind the scenes, vision meets action. Governor Hope Uzodinma.
The news continues in Jigawa State, where a major step forward has been achieved in the ongoing efforts to reposition agriculture as the engine of the state economy. Governor Umar Namadi reaffirmed his administration's commitment to agricultural transformation as he received the pioneer management team of the newly established Federal College of Agriculture, Krikasama, as the government house in Dutse. Mohammed Musa Askira reports.
Governor Umar Namadi said the establishment of the Federal College of Agriculture, Krikasama, is a testimony to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's unwavering support for Jigawa State, particularly in strengthening agricultural education, research and innovation. The governor emphasized that agriculture remains the cornerstone of Jigawa's development agenda, and the coming of the college will further reinforce the state government's drive to enhance skills, empower farmers, and introduce modern technologies across the agricultural value chain, efforts that align strongly with the mandate of the new federal institution.
So we want to thank Mr. President for giving Jigawa State this golden opportunity. And we want to assure Mr. President that as a government, we will do our best to ensure the successful takeoff of these two colleges and the other one that is coming.
Education and agriculture, we have been seeing what it has been doing, and it has transformed the state into a significant contributor in the agricultural development of the country.
The visit, which focuses on strengthening synergy between the state government and the college, is expected to accelerate initiatives aimed at making agriculture the lifeline of Jigawa's economy. From Dutse, Muhammad Musa Askira, NTA News.
Now, 32 institutions in Nigeria have been flagged for operating as honorary doctorate degree mills, indiscriminately awarding degrees and enabling public misuse by recipients. The Executive Secretary of the National Universities Commission, Professor Abdullahi Yusuf Ribadu, received the reports following months of investigation by a special committee. Christiana Akande brings us the details.
About a few months ago, the National Universities Commission set up a committee to investigate the public misuse of honorary doctorate degree by institutions and recipients. Now, the report of the investigation identifies 32 institutions operating as honorary doctorate degree mills. This includes 10 unaccredited foreign universities, 4 unlicensed local universities, 15 professional bodies with no degree awarding powers, as well as 3 other non-degree awarding institutions. The NUC says that recipients of the award are not permitted to use the honorary doctorate degree to practice as scholars.
When you award somebody who is in office, then you are looking for patronage. And to the extent there are people who even buy, and they go about branding themselves as doctors, comparing themselves to people who have worked tirelessly to earn a PhD.
We recommend that the NUC enforce uniform standards for awarding honorary doctorate degrees and monitor their public use, because NUC is legally empowered to do this.
To this end, the National Universities Commission has developed a national guideline in collaboration with law enforcement and other relevant government agencies. In Abuja, Christiana Akonde, NTA News.
The Zenith Tech Fair Future Forward 5.0, tagged Tech for Success, Innovate, Adapt and Accelerate, has awarded the sum of 30 million naira each to winners of the Business Pitch and Hackathon Innovation Challenge organized by Zenith Bank PLC. Founder and chairman of Zenith Bank PLC, Jimovia, says the bank hopes to transform the African tech space into an innovation hub through the banking industry. Amaka Uwo reports that other finalists received 10 million naira each to support their tech startups.
This is indeed a turning point for these tech entrepreneurs, Cubes and Trust Loop, who emerged winners of the keenly contested Business Pitch and the Hackathon categories out of over 4,000 entries at the Zenith Tech Fair 5.0, as they were presented checks of 30 million naira each. Other finalists received 10 million naira presented to them by the governor of Lagos State and the leadership of Zenith Bank PLC.
Come next year, we're not going to just be the 5 best winners. We're going to have 10 best winners. Let us double the number.
Zenith Bank PLC, under the chairmanship of its founder, Jim Ovia, and Group Managing Director Dame Adora Umoji, says the Zenith Tech Fair 5.0 aims to identify, nurture and finance tech innovators across Africa to drive change.
We are very confident that Zenith Bank Tech Fair will produce innovators who will change the world. And we stand ready to support you to turn your ideas into reality.
But it's important that we tell our African story. It's about solving African problems with African solutions.
Gen AI is about, one model, one foundation model, trying to do things that you are asking it to do.
We need to create something that is wow, something that people actually love.
2 sessions of fireside chats highlighted the need for data protection, building cyber awareness to mitigate cyber risks.
The startup funding attracted to Africa the first 5 months of this year, by May this year, was about $1 billion.
Since inception 6 years ago, over 10,000 youths from across Africa have benefited from the Zenith Tech Fair. In Lagos, Amaka O, NTA News.
As part of its contribution to community safety, StarTimes Estate Community Development Association, Go Palaswe Okota, has donated a fire station to the Lagos State Government. Hingino John Adams reports that the facility was inaugurated by the Lagos State Governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu.
This marks a new beginning for residents of StarTimes Estate and neighboring communities.
Over the years, Lagos has experienced fire incidents that have left painful marks on families, businesses, and entire communities. Each of these incidents reinforces the critical importance of rapid emergency response.
Members of the StarTimes Estate Community Development Association transformed safety concerns into a structure, a fire station, which will not only serve the estate alone, but the entire community. Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, who was represented, appreciated StarTimes Estate Community Development Association's gesture.
The very presence of these facilities offer our residents and stakeholders renew confidence that should an emergency arise, help is close at hand.
By bringing a fire station closer to the people, the project is expected to reduce response time and boost public safety.
You have given your community an asset that will serve day and night during routine drill and emergency response alike.
If you secure yourself and peradventure there is fire, what do you do? So we felt that we should interface with Lagos State government. And we are very happy that our governor was helpful and encouraging us to have this established.
Residents of the estate say they feel fulfilled to be part of the life-saving story. In Lagos, Hingino John Adams, NTA News.
Despite a court ruling on 20th November 2025 in favor of Nest Oil permitting access and the continuation of operations in their respective offices, the company staff were prevented from entering their Akin Adeshola, Victoria Island, Lagos headquarters on 21st November by security personnel. General Counsel to Nest Oil Abimbola Atitebi made this known at a media briefing in Lagos. Diana Ajale has details.
In October 2025, Justice Deinde Dikpeolu of the Federal High Court, Lagos, granted a Mariva injunction allowing the lenders to take possession of Nest Oil assets, including its headquarters on Victoria Island, and appointed Justice Abubakar Sulu Gambari SAN as a receiver manager to oversee Nest Oil's operations, due to the company's alleged $1 billion and 430 billion naira debt dispute with a consortium of lenders led by FBN Quest Merchant Bank, which the oil and gas company is contesting. In response, Nest Oil claims that the matter is a commercial dispute and is being addressed through legal channels.
The ex parte order of the court that was used as a means, instead of preservation of the subject matter, to seal up the premises and take out workers from legitimate enterprise, was set aside by the Federal High Court. The order having 14 days.
However, in a recent development, Justice Daniel Osiago ordered the vacation of receivership orders, citing that the case should start afresh, while Nest Oil staff are to resume operations in their offices. In spite of this court order, the staff are yet to achieve this, with the presence of heavy security officers who denied them entrance.
The court order had been served on the police yesterday, and the bailiffs came this morning to paste it at the building as is their practice. But we received resistance from the police. They didn't allow us move in. They tear gassed the place, and we had to run for their life.
The order of the court says there is no longer any ex parte order. The police have been asked to vacate the premises.
Nest Oil has, however, stated that the company remains law-abiding and will continue to work with authorities to resolve the issue. In Lagos, Diana Ajale, NTA News.
Now, the Nigerian Senate has pledged more legislative support to create a more conducive environment that will further propel Dangote Refinery's quest of attaining energy sufficiency in Nigeria and Africa at large. Chairman Senate Committee on Petroleum Downstream, Senator Sumaila Kawu, during a working visit with members of the committee to the refinery site in Ibeju-Lekki, said the legislature will implement reforms that will hasten the growth of the oil and gas sector. Joel Pola has the reports.
Dangote Refinery is described as a major economic lifeline of Nigeria's oil and gas sector. And this visit by the Senate Committee on Petroleum Downstream is part of measures to sustain the ongoing momentum of the refinery, which has an expansion target of 1.4 million barrels per day from its current capacity of 650,000 barrels per day. The senators were marveled by the level of automation and quality control in the central control room of the refinery, a facility that guarantees round-the-clock surveillance of the production process and quality control. Dangote Refinery has its own port, 5 single-point mooring system to facilitate the transfer of crude oil through the trestle to the crude tanks in the refinery. The CEO and Managing Director of the refinery and Vice President of the Dangote Group believe the facility is a beacon of hope for Africa.
This is truly a world-class facility that is fundamentally changing the dynamics of the global trade, but certainly the North Atlantic Basin particularly. And to see Africa, for me, there's a lot of personal purpose to taking on this role as a continent and a nation-building project.
The Chairman Senate Committee on Petroleum Downstream, Sumaila Kawu, described the refinery as a national asset that needs more support.
Look into more especially PIA. You know how long it stayed in the National Assembly without passing it, but it was first in the last Assembly. Therefore, there is need for some adjustment and amendment, which is natural. Now we listen to him. We will listen to the remaining stakeholders in the oil industry to arrive in a destination, which everybody at the end will be happy.
The lawmakers also toured the fertilizer plants currently producing 2.7 million metric tons per year, which is more than Nigeria's annual need of 1 million metric tons. In Lagos, Joel Bukbola, NTA News.
Now, reports just reaching us indicate that following recent security challenges in some parts of the country and the need to prevent any security breaches, the Minister of Education has approved the immediate closure of some federal unity colleges with immediate effect. A statement by the Director, Senior Secondary Education, Binta Abdul Qadir, notes that all principals of affected colleges are to ensure strict compliance as communicated. You're watching the news on the network service of the Nigerian Television Authority. We pause for another break with business news to come up later. Do stay tuned. Business news with Benny is next.
Thank you, Lami, and to the business of foreign relations. The President Bola Tinubu-led administration is engaging constructively with American officials at the highest level in correcting the mischaracterization of Nigeria as a country of particular concern through bilateral cooperation and investment decisions. This position was affirmed during a high-level policy training on American foreign policy under the Trump administration, New Realities for African Negotiation, convened by the Ministry of Finance in collaboration with the National Assembly and the Presidency. National Assembly correspondent Joshua Ogunjide reports.
In the past couple of weeks, the decision by President Donald Trump to list Nigeria as a country of particular concern, alleging genocide and systematic persecution of Christians, has raised significant concern across Nigeria's government and her international partners. The training is therefore not merely an academic exercise, as it represents a critical and practical component of Nigeria's national response strategy, designed to equip policymakers, legislators, and negotiators with strategic insights necessary to engage effectively with international partners and safeguard national interest.
We must remain vigilant, well-informed, and proactive in recognizing that effective international engagement requires not only awareness of external developments, but also coordinated internal preparedness to safeguard Nigeria's national interests.
To understand how American foreign policy is formulated in Washington, and also to understand the different institutions that actually play a role in the formulation of American foreign policy.
I think for legislators to be able to engage effectively, data, information, research is critical.
Nigeria is using this forum to reaffirm that killings in the country are not religiously motivated.
We see our relationship with the U.S. They are our great allies.
If you notice, they stopped a lot of aids coming to us. All they are trying to say is that nothing comes to you free. What will they get from your own side?
America's foreign policy is based on what its people want, what would enhance their dominance in the world.
Feelers from this meeting is that the President Donald Trump administration might likely renew AGOA for just 1 year, and after that, the rest will be history. And this is because the President administration in the United States believes in bilateralism, that's bilateral relations rather than multilateral relations.
In all, Nigeria is being accurately represented, effectively defended, and strategically positioned in all engagement with the USA. From the National Assembly Library, Joshua Ogunjide, NTA News.
And a quick look at the stocks. African stocks closed the week with a largely negative tone led by a significant drop in Nigeria and South Africa. This is in contrast with Tunisia that closed positive. Looking at the numbers at this time, the Nigerian exchange all-share experienced its fifth consecutive session of losses, a shedding of 0.32% to close at 143,722.62 basis points. The decline was primarily driven by continued profit-taking across major sectors. The JSE Top 40, talking about the South African market, was sharp decline with a sell-off attributed to global market slump, particularly in tech-driven decline and renewed concerns about the AI sector, which hit riskier assets. For Tunisia, Tunindex, it's closing positively at this time. This is it on business for the week. Lami, you can take it from here.
Thank you, Benny. Leadership of the Nigeria Union of Pensioners dissociates itself from a planned naked protest by a group called Coalition of Pensioners to press for the release and payments of the pending 6 months arrears arising from the 32,000 pension increase. In a statement, the national chairman, Godwin Abomisi, says the leadership stands on dialogue which is already ongoing and yielding the desired results, as the federal government has gradually commenced the payments of the arrears in contention in the month of September 2023 to all categories of pensioners. The statement acknowledges the role of pensioners as role models in the society and equally urged President Bola Tinubu to keep his promise to the senior citizens by fast-tracking the release of funds for the payment of 3 months outstanding palliative to its members to prevent industrial action being contemplated. Now, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu extends his warm greetings to Malam Nuhu Ribadu, the National Security Advisor, on his 65th birthday, which falls on November 21st, 2025. In a statement, the Special Advisor to the President, Information and Strategy, Bayo Ononuga, President Tinubu describes Ribadu as a principled reformer, an accomplished security professional and a steadfast defender of Nigeria, praising Ribadu's exceptional integrity and lifelong devotion to public service, which has left enduring marks on Nigeria's governance and security institutions. The President recalls his pioneering leadership as the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, where he championed accountability and strengthened the nation's anti-corruption framework. We join Badi in the Sports Corner for sports stories.
Thanks, Lami. Let's begin from Riyadh, as Folashade Oluwafemi Ayo helped Nigeria end the 2025 Islamic Solidarity Games on a high as she struck gold for the country in the plus 86 kilograms para-powerlifting event on Friday. Oluwafemi Ayo saw off competition from Uzbekistan's Kudratoy Toshpulatova and Asma Isa of Jordan to claim the top accolade. With her latest feat, Team Nigeria ended their campaign at the Games with a total of 30 medals, made up of 11 gold, 12 silver and 7 bronze medals, finishing 8th on the medal standings. Now to football. President Dusan Ozbek of Galatasaray has given the clearest update yet on Victor Osimhen's injury recovery. The club's record signing picked up a hamstring tear with internal bleeding while playing for Nigeria in the dramatic World Cup playoff loss to DR Congo. After returning to Istanbul, scans confirmed the mild tear, ruling him out of Galatasaray's upcoming fixtures. But there is good news for fans. Ozbek says Osimhen is already on an accelerated rehab program and is expected to return in just 2 weeks as the Turkish champions enter a crucial phase of the season. Back home, the 14 actions take center stage in the MPFL this weekend with 7 matches scheduled for Sunday, while 2 more games will be played on Monday. The game between Plateau United and Rivers United have been postponed, with Rivers United playing away to Pyramids in their match-day 1 encounter of the CAF Champions League group phase in Egypt this Saturday. Rivers United are making their maiden appearance in the money-spinning group stage of the CAF Champions League. Finally, attention turns to major leagues in Europe this weekend as the international break is over. In England, Chelsea play away to Burnley, with Liverpool entertaining Nottingham Forest in a match that will be live on NTA network from 3:30 in the afternoon. Newcastle United play Manchester City in the late kickoff on Saturday. In Spain, Barcelona are at home to Athletic Bilbao. Atletico Madrid play away to Getafe, with Elche hosting leaders Real Madrid. And in Italy, the clash between Inter and AC Milan at San Siro headlines this weekend's fixtures. Before that, Napoli and Atalanta face off, while Cremonese host leaders AS Roma. And that does it on Sports Tonight. Let's return to Lami.
Thank you, Buddy. Now, the weather's getting dusty and chilly. Let's have an outlook of Saturday's weather forecast.
Hello, and thank you for joining us. Here is a look at the weather conditions for the next 24 hours. Conditions across the country are expected to remain largely stable. However, we are tracking a surge of moisture pushing into the central cities that will influence some of the weather we will see on Saturday. Along the coastal belt, prospects for isolated thunderstorms will persist, with light showers possible across parts of Cross River, some parts of Akwa Ibom, Rivers, and Bayelsa State. Meanwhile, further north and across the central cities of the country are expected to stay dry, sunny and hazy throughout the forecast period, providing clear conditions for outdoor activities. And that's it from this end. Do stay safe and join us again.
And that does it on NTA Network News for today. We thank you for being a part of it. I'm Lami Ali. Do have a good weekend.